Now, the next type of bend is called a ghost bend and release. So you're going to have it pre-bent, strike the note, and then release it so that you hear it coming back down. Okay. Now, mostly this technique is used as the technique itself. It's used often at the beginning of a phrase. For example, okay. But the ghost bend and release can also be used at the end of, it's kind of a bending phrase. You're going to do a regular bend up, do a bunch of ghost bends, and then a ghost bend and release. Sound kind of like this. Okay. Also, it's nice to another effect that, for example, blues guitars use is they'll bend up and they'll, as they're releasing, they'll pluck it. So it's kind of, you're doing multiple ghost bends and releases all at once. For example, like this. Okay. So far we have a regular bend, which is just bent up, and that's it. Doesn't come back down. Sounds like this. Okay. We have a bend and release. We have a ghost bend, which means we start bent, and then we pluck. Then we have a ghost bend and release, where we start bent, we pluck, and we release. Okay. There are other effects that you can use, kind of special effect flash techniques. There's one that is basically where you're going to bend and release multiple times in a row, and it'll be, once again, that's, okay. And then of course you've got real, what I would call a heavy vibrato. Okay, so anyway, just wanted to do an introduction and show you some of the different bend techniques that are used by guitarists and other stringed instruments, and to let you know that there are different types of bends. And as you've seen throughout this video in the graphics at the bottom, that each of these bends look differently in tablature. So when you see one that just goes up with a 1 or 1.5 over it, or one that goes up and that comes down, or one that starts up and that comes down, you see what these bends are, what they're calling for, and how to do them. You know what a bend is: bend and release, a ghost bend, ghost and release, heavy vibrato, all these different techniques. Now, one of the important things to realize is that a bend has a value in itself. In other words, it's not like a grace note or something you're just throwing on there to make a particular note sound good. It's to reach a particular note that has a particular value. It's not like I'm playing a note and just, ooh yeah, boy, I'm making it, you know, sound hot. No, a bend has a value. So anyway, don't just wiggle your finger and pretend it's a bend and say, ooh, you know, I'm fancying up the note. That's not what a bend is for. That's what wiggling your fingers are for. And anybody that wiggles a lot of notes like this just to it just sounds terrible, and you can tell that, oh, well, that person probably doesn't understand their bends or knows or doesn't particularly know what they're supposed to be doing there, except that, oh, that note's bent. Now, sometimes bends can be used for like a special effect, and in that case it's more called like a choke, is what some folks call it. It's just kind of a small tiny bend. One I can think of is Cluck Old Hen, which if you play it without a capo, you have to kind of bend some notes to get notes that you're missing. Let me show you here. Now in this kind of case, you're not actually reaching for a particular note. What you're trying to do is create the special effect of a chicken cluck. So basically I'm doing a regular bend first on this one with a stop, and then on the middle string I'll actually do a ghost bend and release. So anyway, that's an overview of some of the different bend techniques that are out there and available. It's nice to be able to know that these different ones are available and you can use them and have them in your arsenal to pull out when you need to. And it's also very important to be able to look at a piece of tablature, see the type of bend that's being called for, and use the correct bend. Just going like that every time you see a bend on a tablature, it's just not right. I mean, a bend has its own value. So anyway, that's it. My name is Quintin Stephens, and I'll see you for the next episode where we'll go over different slide techniques.